So I'm sure you've heard of TJ Warren. He has been one of the more underrated players in the league the last couple of seasons, kind of like Phoenix's little secret, if you will, to the casual NBA fan. But for anyone who takes the league seriously, they would tell you that TJ is an old school player where, as the rest of the league is shooting three-pointers and all that, TJ has been spending the last few years working on other ways to score. So cutting to the basket and isolations, mid-range jumpers, post-ups, doing about as much as you can without attempting shots from beyond the three-point line. And he has made it work. He has been a source of offense for the Phoenix Suns for a while. But this season, it seems like he is updating his game to where he's actually shooting from outside, and he's doing it at a very respectable 56% right now. That's not going to hold up. But if TJ Warren is now going to be this league average, or maybe even a little above league average, then I think that changes a bit about his career, but also the Phoenix Suns at large. Before we get to all that, I have to actually apologize to TJ Warren, because of course he's watching this video right now, obviously. Because when the Suns drafted DeAndre Ayton, I made a video where I said down the road they may need to consider trading TJ, because I don't know if his inside game with DeAndre's game would create like a lot of spacing. I think it would give the defense a lot of time to double team and all that. But now if TJ is going to be giving DeAndre Ayton that space and the defense can't help off of Warren, then I think you've got no problems at all. And I think it goes from being something that would still kind of work but be a little bit of an awkward fit to something that would probably go beautifully. Because now Ayton can just chill around the rim, and I think TJ Warren can play the small ball 4 position, and if he's going to be standing out on the three-point line and making outside jumpers, well then DeAndre Ayton's got all the room in the world to operate, right? And that is great for Phoenix, because I think Ayton is going to eventually be this team's at least second leading scorer. I actually wouldn't be shocked if he overtook the role from Devin Booker one day, especially if Booker is all in on being a primary ball handler. We'll have to wait on that one. But speaking of Devin's lead ball handling role, that is a thing that he has been taking on this season. It hasn't gone beautifully. His turnovers are kind of through the roof right now, but I think it's intriguing nonetheless, and TJ giving Devin Booker room to operate will also be huge as well. So there's only positive things that can come from TJ Warren spacing the floor out, because these type of plays that Devin Booker is making as the lead guard, well, these are only going to be more prevalent because you're going to get plays like this one where TJ Warren is left wide open and it's 3 points on the board. Now we're going to talk over 2K footage for a little while now, because there's a lot I want to get to and I didn't want to flip through real life footage a million times. So one thing we have to say now is if this is going to be the new TJ Warren who's making threes and all that, then his contract is one of the best in the league, because he's only making about $10 to $12 million until 2022. That is a massive bargain, because if Warren was on the open market right now, or if he was on the open market after this season, given that his three-point shooting is now a thing, he could be making at minimum maybe like 17 or 18 million, and maybe more depending on which team would be willing to overpay for the guy a little bit. So that's great. That's going to allow Phoenix to have some more room with their cap space, and their cap situation looks pretty damn good for the next few years. They're not committed to any bad salaries, and the only long-term ones they have are all their rookies or Devin Booker and TJ Warren now. So as long as they don't do any dumb signings, then that'll give them a lot of room to make smart signings, I guess, especially when Ryan Anderson's contract is up after next season. Then they'll really have some room to do stuff. The other thing this does, though, is number one, I think it opens up the possibility that TJ Warren, if he's able to, do all the things he was doing before and be this three-point guy, is there a chance that he becomes the third star of this team? Potentially. I mean, you've already got two. You got Booker and you got Ayton, and we assume both of those guys are going to be great. I mean, we've already seen that Devin Booker is great, and I have a lot of high hopes for Ayton, as long as his defense could not be a disaster, that he could be like I don't know, you fast forward 3 or 4 years, is there a chance Ayton is putting up 25 points and 12, 13 rebounds a game? I think it's in the cards. And then if TJ Warren can be like maybe a third 20-point scorer or at least a high teens scorer who gives you really good spacing now, then that's a hell of a 1-2-3 punch offensively, right? But the other thing this does with TJ is I think it boosts his trade value, but it also makes you perhaps a little more content with trading someone else down the road. I'm not saying the Suns should trade any of these guys because, between Josh Jackson, Mikal Bridges, Eli Okubo, Dragan Bender, although, it hasn't looked that good in his first 2 seasons, there's a decent amount of young talent here, and I'm sure some of these guys are going to end up being damn good. A couple of them might end up being disappointing. But now because you've got so many of those guys and you've got TJ Warren, if some superstar becomes available in a trade at some point, I think you've got some real ammo to make a deal. It also helps that they have all of their first-round picks moving forward, and they do have a Bucks protected pick, which is probably not going to convey this year because the Bucks have to finish between 4th and 16th, and I feel like they're going to... they're probably going to end up with like the 22nd or 23rd pick, something like that. So you're not going to get it this year. In 2020, that pick is probably going to go at that point because it's top 8 protected. So that at least gives you another pick that you will have, which could turn into a couple more good young players, or it could be used in a trade. The other thing about a potential trade, if you wanted to put TJ Warren in a move for some star, again, it would have to be, I don't know what the future is going to hold, but if someone really good becomes available and you got the opportunity, I like TJ, but you probably do it. 25 years old, I mentioned the very affordable contract, so it would be easy for another team to take him on. Yeah, Phoenix is in a good spot, man. 2 stars. TJ's getting better, and you are in a position now where you got a lot of cap space. You can keep on building this team because you got young dudes, but then if someone becomes available, then you can swing for the fences as well. So they have all their options open, and they've got DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker. So, yeah, the Suns are looking good. TJ's looking good, and we'll see if he can just keep on making threes.